it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, January 4th. So today we do have the moon in Gemini all day. However, the moon will be going void, of course, at 7:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will be shifting into Cancer energy at 9:15 a.m. on the 5th. And this is opening us up for our full moon in Cancer taking place on the 6th. So we can expect for things to get a little bit crazy, a little bit extra, a little bit intense where our emotions are concerned. Now, there are 12 different aspects here today, which suggests a semi-busy day in the cosmos, and 10 of these aspects involve the moon. So there's still a lot of emotional and mental processing going on by reflecting back, gaining insight on where it is that we need to move forward. So the moon is going to make an awkward interaction with the sun, and this is an opportunity for us to implement something that we've learned. Now, the moon in Gemini, of course, has the wheels of turning in our headspace and our heart space. We're really curious. We're asking the right questions. Because Mercury, Gemini's ruler, is retrograde, we are looking back. We are reflective. But the sun is shining a bright light in Capricorn energy. And unfortunately for us, we're not quite at the degree where we start looking forward at our long-term goals yet, where it is that we want to build, where it is that we want to level up. We're still very much examining where it is that we've come from, taking a look at the roles and responsibilities that we've outgrown, taking a look at the foundations, the systems, the routines, the structures that are not really strong enough to house this next chapter of our lives. And what we get is a contrast between what it is that we're moving away from, what it is we're moving closer to, and what it is that we actually have control over here in this present moment. And newsflash, you might not have control over much, and that's okay. We have to deal with those particular thoughts and issues and emotions. However, we do have to constantly be looking back and then looking forward and then grounding ourselves in this present moment to see what it is we can actually do to either close the door, wrap up the loose ends of the past, or open the door and start building the foundation of the bridge that's going to get us from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be. The moon is going to make a very positive interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, blessings, abundance, beliefs. This is definitely getting the wheels turning. We are trying to identify the ideas, the projects, the goals that excite us, that get us passionate, that will help us grow into some of the opportunities, the experiences that we're hoping to have. This is kind of boosting our confidence. This is making us a little bit more positive than we have been. Of course, Capricorn season is a little bit of a negative Nancy vibe anyways. This is definitely a good energy for us to recognize what it is that we need to kind of hype ourselves up for, get ourselves excited about in order to stay inspired, to keep fanning the flames of our inner passion, our inner desire. The moon is going to bump into Mercury, Gemini's ruler, in a very positive way that would suggest that for the first time in a long time, our heart and our head are in agreement. We are thinking clearly, although it may be for a very short amount of time. Let's take it where we can get it. We're having ideas, seeds are being planted. We are excited about things. It might just be a temporary excitement, but that's okay. We have to, again, take it where we can get it. This is going to inspire us to kind of, I'm going to say, reshape our past experiences into a seed that we can plant in the here and now that will grow into something that we can reap the rewards of for years to come. Now, also, disclaimer, if you find yourself in a situation having a heart-to-heart or a little bit of a serious conversation, take advantage of it. But also be mindful that Mercury is retrograde. We're likely not speaking as clearly as we need to. We are likely not being kind of received in the way that we would like. And miscommunications are still very high and still very probable. Now, the moon goes ahead and bumps into Uranus in such a way that would suggest that there may be a disruption to our day, to our plan, to our routine. We kind of have to expect the unexpected when Uranus energy is concerned. We also have to expect with Gemini and Uranus energy, the higher and lower octave of the intellect, a lot of mental processing, a lot of pressure in the head, and likely a lot of anxiety just to the high forms of electricity pumping through our brain space at this particular time. Now, it would be ideal if we could learn to kind of roll with the punches, not be so fixed and kind of disarrayed, disorganized, and disrupted when our plans fall through. However, it is going to be a little bit of a test for us in our mental dexterity, our mental strength, our mental focus on whether or not we're still allowing outside situations to totally throw us off of our game. Venus, who is just fresh in Aquarian energy, goes ahead and sextiles, which is a beautiful interaction, with Jupiter, the planet of growth and expansion. So this is going to be a very, very lucky time for love and for money, for finding new connections, new interests to pursue, for finding new peace with some of the conflicts that we've been having in our heart space, for finding new ways to bring happiness, joy, and pleasure in our lives. Now, this is a very, very potent energy to focus on what it is that you want to manifest, especially where love and money is concerned. And a lot of that is just because Venus being in Aquarius energy, it's a visionary energy. We're able to see the big picture. We're able to connect to our heart space on what it is that our heart actually desires. And because Jupiter is a magnifier and turns the volume all the way up on whatever it is that we're thinking and feeling, and brings a lot of confidence, a lot of optimism, a lot of abundance to our lives, there is a high probability that whatever it is that we focus on as far as our wants, needs, and desires go can manifest in a very short amount of time. Keep in mind, Mercury, although retrograde, is in Capricorn energy, the great manifester of the zodiac. And that's why it's super important that we watch what we say, we watch what we write, and we watch what we focus on. Because all the mental energy that we're able to put out in the world in this Capricorn energy has a long-term effect on what it is that we're able to actually bring to life and see manifest. So shortly after that beautiful interaction, we have the moon in Gemini making an awkward interaction with Venus in Aquarius. So this just kind of puts us in a situation where we're really starting to question what it is that we want, need, and desire in our lives, where healthy relationships are concerned, where stable money matters are concerned, where happiness, joy, and pleasure is concerned. It's okay to question. It's okay to challenge your current comfort zone. Keep in mind that Venus being in Aquarius kind of positions us to want to think outside the box and be attracted to break away from the mundane tasks and chores in order to spice things up a little bit and experiment with what could bring us the most safety, security, and stability where our relationships and money matters are concerned. If you need to go ahead and listen to what Venus in Aquarius energy is all about, you can take a listen to that Astro forecast that I put out. We do a little bit more of an in-depth deep dive on what that energy brings to us. But the moon is going to go ahead and make another interaction with Mercury, its ruler. But this time it's an awkward one, which means that there could be miscommunications. There could be misunderstandings. We could speak out of turn. We could hurt people's feelings. And if nothing else, we could hurt our own feelings because our narrative takes a little bit of a negative turn. Negative Nancy, Betty the Bully, all of those mean girls come out to play. We are feeling insecure. We are highly, questioning and doubting ourselves at this particular point. It isn't going to last very long, though, because the moon goes ahead and bumps into Pluto once again. So Pluto's the great transformer. We kind of have to do a deep dive in the darker thoughts and the darker narratives in order for us to build ourselves up in a better way. That's what Pluto loves for us to do. It's an empowerment energy. So a lot of the thoughts, a lot of the ideas that got very dark, very negative, we're able to bring ourselves out of here very quickly. We got to love the high processing energy and time frame of the Gemini moon. And we go ahead and then trine, which is a beautiful energy, with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is in Aquarius energy. So we get some air on air action here. The moon in Gemini, Saturn in Aquarius. Now, what we're gaining from this is a new perspective on our roles, on our responsibilities, on the boundaries that we need to create, the systems, the structures that we need to create in our life in order to actually bring to life some of the ideas and inspirations that we're currently having. Now, this isn't going to feel heavy and weighted. This is a positive aspect. This means that things are clicking, things are snapping. We're having aha moments. We're seeing the greater, grander picture of the possibilities that await us. And we're able to add logic and practicality in order to come up with a strategy in order to get to building whatever it is that we need to build in order to get us away from some of the things that we've identified that we've outgrown or that are sucking the life force energy out of us. Now, just when we get those vibes just a rolling at 7:08 p.m., we are going to have our last aspect with the moon squaring, getting into the boxing ring with Neptune before going void, of course. So as you know, when the moon goes void, things get very shaky, unstable, uncertain. We tend to do the deep dive in our fears and our doubts and our insecurities. We question everything. Things don't feel so good when the moon is void. But here's the thing, the moon entering into the boxing ring doesn't feel good either. And having this be the last aspect with Neptune, who rules over our intuition, rules over our dreams, rules over our imagination, our ideas, our inspiration, suddenly we're speaking fear into all the things that we were excited about earlier in the day. Suddenly, our intuition isn't giving us any insights. We don't know what to trust. Our mental plane isn't very trustworthy right now because it's retrograde. Our intuition isn't really trustworthy because we're questioning everything. We're stuck in our ego mental plane, which means that our intuition isn't going to be strong enough to speak to us anyways. It definitely doesn't feel good. The moon goes ahead, makes a positive aspect with Chiron while the moon is void, which does kind of suggest that we sat in the funk, we fought it out in the boxing ring, we recognize where the fears, the doubts, the insecurities were concerned, and we're trying our freaking best in order to hype ourselves up to align with a better perspective, to heal certain mental narratives that we recognize are really doing a lot of damage. And it's suggesting here that we are kind of winning this mental and emotional battle because the sun in Capricorn goes ahead and makes a beautiful aspect with Mars, who is retrograde in Gemini. This means that we are kind of, tapping into that spiritual warrior type attitude, that we are tapping into a new level of determination, of motivation, of inspiration in order for us to not lose ourselves in the darkness and instead use that darkness as a source of empowerment. The sun shining a bright light on Mars, who, yes, is retrograde, is helping us to identify what it is that we're excited about, what it is that we're passionate about, what it is that we're inspired about. And although we might not be able to take action in our exterior realm to make those elements come to life, we are definitely choosing to rewrite our inner narrative in such a way that keeps the inner fire lit. So it is a beautiful energy to end the day off of. And of course, we are entering into the full moon window, which is likely going to intensify a lot of emotion.